Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lover Show, baby. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Interesting morning, 93K for Bitcoin. I went it along last night. High risk on a Sunday night. Usually we never do it, but it looked like we were going to get after the volatility down. I did wake up. I made about 389 on one trade and about 570 on another, so I came home with at least almost $1,000. Thank you for the morning. That's a blessing, dear Lord. Appreciate it. This is a Labradorite heart. Looks pretty nice. And I showed the trade to my trading group. I showed them what I did. It was very simple last night. And I'm going to teach you kind of what I did here. I just, whenever we get a crazy move, I zoom out. And last night, all I did, this is very simple. I front ran the 4-hour tweezer bottom. And what is this line that gave me a bit of a move? This is the smooth moving average. So I had a bit of an edge. And when I show the screen, because I like to get the chat going crazy, but then, the chat goes crazy when I don't show the screen, and it gets, I don't know, it gets crazy. So anyway, shout out to everybody here on the live. Sorry, I gotta get it going. Anyway, let's take a look at what's happening for BTC. Bitcoin, 92,950 for Bitcoin. So yeah, anyway, I was looking for us to get a bit of a move here back to the upside as we bounced off what's called the smooth moving average. I'm going to teach you what the smooth is today. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to show you how it works, and you're going to get some insight. See how many people, no one knew. Look how we bounced. You have to understand, people that are using algorithmic bots and ideas are using moving averages behind the scenes. For whatever reason, they are the dominant force through the algorithm. You have to understand, I'm going to teach you something that's going to blow your mind, okay? It is. It's going to blow your mind. Your mind's going to expand. Remember, everything is derived from everything, right? So when someone created the beginnings of a connection, whether it was like, like a nail into a board. You see what I mean? And then we started making electricity, and then we connected things. The way we connected some of this stuff still implied into how we connected electricity. You understand? Like, it not directly in exact. And my whole point is we continue to derive whatever formation or structure that we started with. And as we continue to evolve, less and less of it leaves. But there's always going to be like a grain of sand left. Like even in the last UFO we make, like there'll be some retracement. If you take the evolution and go all the way back to like the first drill someone ever made in like the 1600s, you know what I mean? A little whittle, whatever, you know what I mean? Or a rock hitting a rock, for crying out loud. You see what I'm saying? So my whole point is, when people started trading, they were heavy on the moving averages. Then they started doing bots, and they started programming, and then they started the hedge funds, and and then the moving averages took over. And a lot of the things they do, they just shrink them down to the 1 second, like I show you. You see how the 1 second trades, like the 30 second, the 5 second, the 1 minute. Like you can go from the 1 second to the 7 minute, and that's as many rotations as probably more than the 1 minute to the weekly, right? I think it's insanity. But anyway, you see what I mean? So you can live inside this world. You could say, you know what, I'm only going to trade from the 1 second to the 15 minute for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for a month. And you could just, again, you'd have to know what you're doing. And that is very high risk. I don't suggest people do that, but you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of breaking down what I see. And my whole point is, that's why Bitcoin bounced off the smooth moving average. You understand? Is anyone making the direct connection that I'm making here? So Bitcoin bounced off the smooth. Why? Because the smooth moving average is such a high ideal programmable area that has been used for so many years in time that somehow bots are so strong. Like, come on. What are the odds that, a whale did the biggest person with all the money in the world decide to buy right there last night? Why there? Why right at this exact moment did we get we wick right to it on the candle, and then you put a stop loss, I go below the wick because, but you could even been below the smooth moving average. It's fascinating to me. And see, there you go. That was up, but I put a stop loss right below, and each of them sold for a little less than they were. So right there was about a little over 1,000, right? So, but I took home probably like 870 after fees, But great morning. I'm happy with that. I'm going to say thank you and go on from there. Usually I do not trade Sunday night at all. You have to understand, I have rules. And then if I break my rules and I get paid, that's kind of cool. Like, that makes it a pretty interesting day. So with that, let's move forward. Shout out to everybody here on the chat. Let's see how the chat is doing. May God bless each and every one of you. I can hear him. Great. My volume is on 20%. Amen. Yeah, I did cycle the power here. Everything seems loud and clear, man. I'm also standing closer to the mic. I think, for a while I was like this. I think I was doing a lot of this, and people want a lot of this. So you got to be, this mic is a very intimate microphone. So there you have it. Thought about something else too, but I'll figure that out later. Billionaires flee California within 7 days over proposed wealth tax inside the Miami migration. Yeah, I mean, Florida just becomes a richer state. I got paid on that trade, Sammy. Shout out to Go to the Gym Bro. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Bitcoin finally recovered. Bitcoin Cash from last night's dump. Bitcoin Cash has been fine, though, on the bigger scale. Like, we looked at it on the... It's just been doing so well on a larger scale. So proud of Bitcoin Cash, honestly. Boring, but at least, it maintains its key levels. Just in, New York Stock Exchange launched 24/7 U.S. stock trading through new on-chain tokenized exchange. I mean, they see that all that money's going to go to crypto. They're not going to give it away, right? So they're going to tokenize. It's simple. You don't tokenize us. We tokenize ourselves. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Yeah. And we've been talking about this too. And there's going to be something, isn't there going to be something called the Texas Stock Exchange too? Wasn't there talks about there being a Texas Stock Exchange? I thought that was coming up too. I heard about that about 18 months ago. Haven't really talked about it in a while. But that's definitely on the radar. Or has that been squashed? Why Dash has done so well lately? Well, because it's just a late bloomer in privacy coins. Dash was one of the first awesome privacy coins. And when privacy coins get beat up, you have to remember, it's just like someone was using them for a while, and then someone else. When people use privacy coins too, they go up. Someone could be funneling money through Dash, and then next thing you know, they're not. I know it sounds insane, but there was, kind of some inside stories after the fact of Monero. You never know what to believe truly, but it made sense. You could see from on-chain data. So people put together on-chain data, said, hey, we saw all this movement here. It spiked the price of Monero. It was like Saudi money or so, who knows, something crazy, right? Dallas Stock Exchange is now open for trade. Is it really? No way. Yeah, I thought it was called like the Houston or the Dallas Stock Exchange. I mean, it probably has low volume compared, right? The Texas Stock Exchange is a newly approved, fully electronic national exchange headquartered in downtown Dallas. It received final approval from the Security Exchange on September 30th, clearing the way for operations to begin in early 2026. Launch date: trading is expected in early 2026, with initial listings following shortly after. The exchange will have a physical presence at the Texas Market Center in downtown Dallas. Through all trading will be electronic. The exchange is informally known as Y'all Street, a nod to Texas's growing economic influence and branding effort to position Dallas as a financial rival to New York City. I love Dallas, but come on. Leadership and backing led by CEO James H. Lee, the THSE is backed by major financial institutions including BlackRock, Citadel, Charles Schwab, Fortress, and JP Morgan. With over $250 million in committed capital. Isn't that not a lot? Like $250 million? Like, I know someone worth that, I'm just saying, I don't know. Like, is that, I don't know. Stricter listing standards than the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, including earnings testings and minimal share price requirements. Focus on high quality, profitable companies and exchange traded products. Aims to offer low fees and flexible regulations to attract companies relocating to Texas. The Texas Stock Exchange. And you heard it here. Not many people have talked about it. I haven't heard one peep about it. You ask me, I've gone all over Twitter every morning. Haven't heard anything about the Texas Stock Exchange. And there you have it here first on my stream. Sam, is your experience, do you like to do quick in and out trades on BTCC or MEXC? Which platform is the best for trading BTCC and liquidity? And your thoughts? They're both fine. They work great. I like MEXC. I've been using it for years. It works amazing. Weeks is also very good for liquidity. Weeks and MEXC are spot on. Almost the same liquidity, if you ask me. It just depends on your preference, where you are in the world and what you have access to. So that's why we just have different products for different folks, depending on who you are. We have people from all around the world to watch the show, and they have access for different reasons. So we have Weeks, BTC, and MEXC for that reason, because I don't know where you live and I don't know what you're doing, but each and one of those can solve or become a problem solver for you if you need it, or, you know, or just fill a void, I should actually say, you know what I mean? So yeah, and these are just tools that I use every single day. Up to you if you use them or not. It's just, you know what I mean? I just use these tools. I found that they work good for me. I've worked for different exchange, and I want to get to know the people a little bit when I use an exchange. So, yeah. So these are the exchanges that I think, for me, work the best, right? And I always research, and in a few years it could change. Someone could come to me with a different idea. Heck, I you know, if it ever was, you know, the way it would work, I'd have to go through all of it. But hey, you never know. What if one day I start my own exchange? You know what I mean? You never know. There's always that idea. So, told my 22-year-old son about this channel, and he wants to learn. Told him to join in 99. He first day watching today. That's awesome, man. You know, so today let's kind of bring it back for a beginner. Let's take it all the way back for a beginner. Let's talk about why Dash. Let's look at Dash right now. All right. So your son's a pattern kid. He's young, so we can get him recognizing patterns. So, first thing we're gonna do. Check this out. I'm gonna go through a cool little idea here first. Let's get back into Bitcoin for a second. I'm gonna do a Bitcoin update. But when we get back to Dash, everyone remind me, all right, because he's young, and I have just the perfect way to make this like worthwhile for him tonight. I really want this to be this channel like as if you walked into your friend's, you know, your good friend, and he said, "Hey, man, I've been doing this for a while. I really want to teach you," and you were like, "You know what? I really want to learn. Like your life's been going well. I want to see what you've been doing." And you like it and he likes it and no one's bothering each other. Because sometimes you ever have someone try to teach you something and force it on you and you're like, you know, I don't really want to know. But you want to know. He loves to teach you. So picture me. I'm your good friend. You've known me for a while. We've hung out. And now I'm like, hey, I got to show you. And you're like, yeah, I've been watching this. I really want to know. And so the algorithm sent you here, or you came here, or a friend told you, or you jumped on in, or whatever it was. And so now you're here and you're checking it out and you're saying, hey, what's going on? Let me take a look at what's happening and break it down. All right. So the first thing that we want to look at is I'm going to do a Bitcoin update. At first, this is going to be a little off. So you might not understand it at first. Okay. Once I do the Bitcoin update, I'm going to spend like a 10-minute time for like how we basically the setting up of the chart, what the move, you know what I mean? And I'm just going to do it's going to take me 15 minutes to kind of create a beginner's course out of thin air. And my mind is creating it right now. Like literally a piece of my brain is now writing code in another place while I'm doing this, and then I'm going to access that file, press play on it, and it's going to be ready to go. And I'm starting to build what I would like, and this is what I like. I kind of freestyle the show in my mind. I can create it while I'm doing it, and I think this is the process of the show. So let's have some fun. Let's take a look at BTC on the bigger time frames, and let's break it down for you right now. So the first thing I want to talk about, right, is the monthly, and we got to stay on the monthly. The same thing is happening every single day here on the monthly. Swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down, and that tells you that there's likely going to be a higher high or a high instead of breaking this low. And I know everyone's like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem likely. We're probably going to dump, and maybe we do. I haven't seen it on the monthly. I've never tested it. It's happened to me when I've seen it on the weekly. I've seen it on the 3-day. I've seen this everywhere, but never on the monthly exactly, right? So this will be the first time I've ever seen it on a major time frame really explode and go big. What's going to happen? Only time will tell. Do I know? No. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. But we are going to see, and we're going to break it down no matter what. We see this big resistance here. We see this resistance here. Okay? What you have to know is right there, that's support, because you came up and you couldn't, you broke back above it. And this is support here where these two candles have touched. So you got support at 87,000. Like on the monthly, really, that's the last, you break below 87K. This doesn't become a tweezer bottom anymore, and this changes. I mean, that you're cooked. Okay. Another thing that is clearly looking interesting to me is like I've got I feel that there's like a 60% chance that this is just going to make a right shoulder and dump on us. Okay. We don't know for sure, and again, we will get to live trading too, everyone. So we're just heating up right now. We're showing you what's going on. Then we're going to break it down a little bit for beginners, and then we're going to heat up. And you never know whether there's going to be a live trade or if we see a model or a signal. I usually do not trade Mondays. TradFi is closed. It's Martin Luther King Day. It's going to be a quiet day. People have the day off. They're with their kids. So it's going to be, it's just a different day. Low liquidity. But we still have to get ready. We still have to prepare. And I'm not going to stop my schedule that I do every single day. I woke up. We worked out. I got it done. Listened to Jim Rohn. Got my mind right. I hope you did too. If you have a plan for the morning, every single morning, it's going to start your day. And if you start your day right, specifically Monday, Tuesday should go well. Wednesday should go well. You plow through the week. And that's what I do. So I start Monday with the hardest workout that I know that really gets me challenged. Sunday night, I'm like, I'm going to wake up and do that workout. And I know it's going to be harder. I know it's going to be tough. I know I'm going to be covered in sweat. I know I'm going to be gassed. But I know when I'm done, I'm going to feel amazing. Right? So let's put the lemon in the water for that reason. Let's decalcify the pineal, the reason that we always were here. Remember, we have never stopped, and we never do stop. God bless each and every one of you for being here. Put the lemon in the water if you're just jumping in late. I see some late comers. It's okay. I get it. I love y'all. Let's go. Let's sip some lemon water. Let's decalcify the pineal. 93K is holding. There's a chance there's some gains here today. If we get above that 5-minute 200 moving average, we could see a little bit of the model. Okay. Oh, wow, that tastes great. And you put a little salt in the water too. Unbelievable. That's what you got to do. A little salt with the lemon. Get the electrolyte vibe. Really fills you up, get you going, baby. Okay. Crypto lifers, let's go, baby. Let's go. So, beautiful monthly candle, all right, so far. And what's called hidden bullish divergence. Divergence is going to take you some time to learn, but if you've been with me for a long time, you know your divergence. And then we do pull the fib every time we show this, and it's a bounce off the 886. It's a bounce off the 7, right? You come right here. I mean, you could, even the monthly looks like we're on our way back to possibly the golden pocket and beyond. So, hey, I'm still open-minded. We could be bouncing. And I still understand that we could be making a bear flag. Like I'm in between. And I'm willing to just trade every day as it goes by. The bullish divergence tells me that we're supposed to break this high before that high. So it's telling me and honestly, I know this sounds crazy, but it's usually 90% accurate. And usually it doesn't, when I see it, even every time I've seen it, my mind and emotions are always kind of there's a little bit of, I don't give into the fear, but there's definitely feeling vibes of like, oh God. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. It's sketchy, right? But it's got to, and I'm always like, but it plays out. And I'm always like, wow. And no one believes me. I'll say it for weeks at a time. I know people will just be like, oh, this guy. And then it finally rips and everyone goes, oh my God, like it wasn't the bottom. Like somehow. So I know this is insane. And I know I sound crazy every day that we've done this. And this is the 2-week chart. So 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks I've been telling you this is hidden bullish divergence for 8 weeks, 2 months straight, and it's got to get old. Like I started saying it when this candle just budged green at the beginning, of November or something. So it's been a long time, or maybe even a little earlier than that, but probably somewhere around there. So here we go. Okay, here we go. Insane. Oh yeah, so yeah, somewhere, November 12th or something like that. Yeah. All right, let's go back to the weekly. So now everyone's like, but isn't the weekly just in a bear flag? And I'd say, you know what? There's a good chance it is. 21-day moving average, like flip it upside down. I mean, that's we've traded many a flag like this. So am I ready? And look, there's just a ball of liquidity. It takes you to 62K. And it says there's likely a move down, right? So, and that's the momentum. You have a low, a high. You did break this low. You have a lower high coming in. So unless you just, and that's what I've been kind of, I'll be honest, been indecisive about, because do you stick with the monthly trend? And every time I've traded though, at the end of the day, it's always been like, trust the trend, right? You could say, well, there's a monthly trend. You could say, well, we broke the trend too, though. Or even if you had to come back, you could come back with bounce off 80K one more time here and respect this bigger trend. Technically still a higher low, right? On the monthly, clean low, high, higher low, higher high. Technically, that's a higher low of the monthly with oversold stochastics and turning RSI. So there's a little bit of hopium there. Hopium, copium, Interesting. And you're bouncing off the 21-day moving average on the 5-day chart too. Sketchy business. So Let's see how the weekly candle closes. Right now, it has a bit of a wick back to the downside, which is good. I mean, you don't want to start the wick. What if you started with a huge pump? Like this week. We pumped and you know, we came down into the week. And we saved it, turned it into a green candle, but dang, you know. And it was a $2,600 week. At least we had a green week, and it was a bullish engulfing candle. You can put this candle inside of that candle. By the book, this candle today, this week is supposed to be a green week because you can put this candle inside of that candle. You see what I'm saying? But again, you put this candle in that candle, and we had an indecisive week. You see? But, you know, you could put this candle inside of that candle. We ended up having a massive move to the upside. You could put this candle inside of this candle. We had 2-3 good weeks, right? So whenever I can put the red in the green, I know it sounds insane, but that's, you know, it tells you should have continuation. So this red came into this green. That's a bullish engulfing candle last week. However you want to say it, you know, just by the book. It tells us we could see some greenery this week. There's a chance, you know. So you're telling me there's a chance. There is a chance. It's, you know, and so they got people on both sides. And what it is it can create a lot of short squeeze because there's a lot of people shorting these. Look, you went above this point of control on the weekly and you're in the gap. Usually you're going to continue up to this batch of liquidity. You see what I'm saying? In my lifetime, I'm just going to show you something. Let me just show you. Like, there's a gap of liquidity. There's a gap of liquidity. This is the VRVP. I'm just drawing over it, but like, price went up here through the VRVP. So we crossed through this area. We did our thing. We crossed back down through the area. We hung out at these big chunky levels where people like to buy, where there was previous resistance. It was strong. That's weekly resistance that created support, you know? To me, that's pretty dang strong. And people were saying it was institutional support. It wasn't retail, man. There was some big money buying in here that created this level. So again, in my lifetime, and then you break back above the POC, and now you're hanging here. And look, there's even a high volume node sticking out at about 91.5, which we had a hard time getting back above 90K for a long time. It could just be a healthy retest of 93,000 just to make sure things are nice and right and tight. You see what I'm saying? So, and then boom, back to this liquidity zone at 108,000, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here for BTC. That's a nice key level that I'm looking for. Shout out to everyone here on the stream. Thank you for jumping on in. We love you. We appreciate you and we care about you. We want to keep you learning and turning and burning. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. If you want to jump on in, I appreciate it. We got to get the jar. If you want to send a super chat, we have a tip jar right there. It just appeared magically. Wow. I don't know how my team does that, but they're just like, you guys are good. And that's Danny on the board. What is it? Tony on the boards. Yeah, we fired Danny. Yeah. He was coming in too late every day. Yeah. Shout out to, no, but that's Tony on the boards over there. Tony, thank you. Appreciate that. None of those people ever existed. I'm here alone. Yeah. So we're looking here at the weekly chart. And so, yeah, bullish engulfing candle suggests this candle and that you dump in the first couple hours of the day of the week. And that's a really good sign. So, you know, there's a chance if you have a big bag of guts over here, you know, that this could end up turning into a pretty nice long. Entering here with a stop below this wick here on the weekly. And that's just based off bullish engulfing candle theory, okay? In my lifetime, if I went after every bullish engulfing candle on the weekly and I did this, like had I did the last one, if I did this exactly the last time, right? You wait for that to close, but even there, you would have done this, something like that. This one was a little tougher because the candle's so far. This one's nice and tight, right? But say you did this one with the stop below here, right? And you went, I mean, you'd be in the money now. Again, your target has to be bigger. And that's what I've learned how to do too, is what I do is I just kind of like, I have a really good sense of how much to use. And whenever I get into these trades, all I have to do is literally, I'd say about what, 80, you guys see it, 80 to 90% of the time. If I'm here, I'm up at least 500. And if I get up here, I'll usually make about 12. If I get here, it'll be 2,000-3,000, right? But very rarely do I ride to the top. I'm always like 500 to 1,200, right, in these areas, you know? Then there's some big ones I take for 5 or 6 grand that I let run on like the perfect day, you know? And then I'm like, But I trade cautiously. I've learned to be cautious. Every time I've gone big, it's not the greatest. So I'm a long-term investor. I like to chip away each day, and I like to just not over risk, because it's interesting. I don't care how much I've ever made in my life or what my net worth is. I guess I come from my old father, my grandfather, and my dad, and I like to take risks, don't get me wrong, but in the right areas at the right time. And now I like to make bigger risks on bigger ideas, as far as I'm concerned. Like if I met you and you were like, listen, man, I got this new, boom, and I looked at you and it was a startup, and I said, and you had everything planned and it looked good. I was like, man, I might invest. I was like, this looks like we might be going to the moon together. You know what I'm saying? But that's risky, but that's to me, more something that I could, 93K for Bitcoin looks nice. So yeah, so I'm looking for this to turn green because it's following a bullish engulfing candle. All right, so you could just take a picture of this, just write it down. I would write this down, take a picture. I'm not saying, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't think I'm saying you should be taken as such. I'm not telling anyone to trade this. You do whatever makes you happy on your own accord. And again, it's a bear flag, right? And you would be basically longing the bear flag in the face of danger. But you can see my reasoning is I'm showing you that we're through a big gap in the VRVP, suggesting that we would continue through the gap. And I've seen that play out more than I haven't. Whatever we reversed, right? If it was the other way around, like if we had just pumped up in here, it's like, well, we're likely going to fall through the gap. And again, and I could be completely wrong, and this could bear flag in our face. And I know ways to figure that out too. Because I'll show you, we're going to lose some key levels that you just can't deny. Like if you end up losing this level here, this line, and if in a week or two we're somewhere here, I mean, that's and then you're going to have to say, okay, are we going to double bottom? Which we may. See, this is something I didn't even think about yet, and I don't think anyone really has. But look at this. We might end up double bottoming in a major way here. So look at this. This might be what we're doing here. You see what I'm saying? And if this is the case, look at this. I mean, you're talking February, and then up in March sometime, So, I have never revealed this. I have never seen this. I've never even thought about it yet. This is the first I'm even looking at this. And this is why I love this channel, because I swear I channel with each and every one of you. Without me being here every single day, I would never stay on point. I would never be on top, and I would never see the things that I see. Everyone that comes here helps this channel fire off with like a high frequency, and then you give the ability for us as a whole to see things differently. I just become a channel of it. I really believe that. We're all channeling our energy and focusing together in such a major way with such high frequency that it makes these ideas. This is something I haven't even thought about yet. And this could be, and again, we could also just dump completely. Another idea is you would come here, you would bearishly retest this line pretty much probably and likely collapse, right? So I'm open-minded to this and I'm open-minded to that. I don't know. I'm playing chess. I keep repeating this to people because let's all agree. Let's make, because whenever you're in science, you make a list of things that have to be true and then you build from there. And you say, well, if this is true, then that has to, right? It's like, and you kind of have to make some lines, and that's why we have controls and variables. Whenever we in every scientific experiment, there's a control and a variable, right? A control is something that you leave the same, and a variable is something you add to see what happens if that's different than the control, right? So you can make assumptions over, well, if this person did this instead of that, they should have lost this much. You know what I mean? Whatever you do, they do a lot of ones in exercise. So the idea is this, we can all agree on, and I'm just going to show you something that's interesting. We can all agree right now that no trader's ever been 100%. Some people might have extremely good track records of getting in and out of trades and say, I've won my last 100 trades. But they may have been like, my whole point is no trader's going to be 100%, right? At one point, there's going to, and some losses may be bigger than, it depends. But so if we know nobody's 100%, guaranteed, right? So then we know that every single thing that happens to the market, so then we can know if no one's 100%, then we know nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, right? Because if someone knew exactly every time, then they would be 100%. Like if I knew what was going to happen in the market every time, I'd be 100%. If you knew, you'd be 100%. So now we're like, okay, nobody can be 100%. That's impossible. So nobody knows what's going to happen to the market, not me. So then I show up every single day. You could never assume that just because I got a suit and tie on, I have an interesting radio voice, and I do this every day, then I know everything that's going to happen to Bitcoin. I don't. I have no clue. But the idea is I'm playing chess. And I've sat in this seat playing chess against whatever the people call it. They call it the market maker. They call it whatever you want to call it. You know, the exchanges, whatever people want to say, who's ever after them, however they feel about these markets, right? To me, it's you against the world. And it's you against you, I really want to say. It's you against you. And, you know, I'm playing chess against a player that I don't know, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen every day. It changes every single day. What I can do is take what I've learned from my games of chess before, just like every other chess player has done, and figure out what's happening. And make as many different scenarios as I can to be ready for whatever could happen. And I feel that's my goal here on this channel, to teach you. It's really like the essence of training your brain to see whatever could be possible and how to use the different probabilities that are coming at you to survive. That's the main reason I'm here on this channel. So, you know what I mean? The process of trading should be, you know what I mean? Today, this is the process of trading. It's not necessarily, you know what I mean? Because every single day is different. Every single thing is changing. You have to learn it as you go. And you have to be able to be versatile and change it as you go. So look, we look at this 5-day and I can say, well, no, you know, it broke back above, but whenever something breaks back inside of a channel, or the channel could be somewhat stronger than you saw before, I mean, we have to just say, okay, yeah, there's a chance. Cool thing again is the dump at the beginning. Remember, the dump at the beginning can be a strength instead of a weakness. Because think, if you pump at the beginning, like I never want to, like when I see a monthly candle pump the first week of the month, oh my God, it's kind of scary, because like that's what this candle did. That's what these candles did. They pumped first and then they dumped. Like the red candles had you know, and we're not looking at the monthly, but if these were monthly candles, you see what I'm saying? Same thing here with the 3-day chart. So, and we stayed above the 200 moving average on the 3-day chart, which isn't like what I'm trying to explain to people is this could be the most epic long in the history of longs, right now. One low, higher low. You put in, if this candle closes in 3 days and then we get another tweezer bottom like this one did, okay, this could end up being like one of the most epic longs in the history of longs. And the only thing I'm saying is because every last time this looks just like this, and that was the entry at 26,000. The last time you could have got a 3-day entry was right there on October 10th of 2023, around there. Isn't that funny too, the October 10th? And then right here, when we got above it, there was April 15th of 2020, right after the pandemic, you know? And I actually bought a whole BTC down in here when we took and some XRP at 16 cents. So the whole point is taking advantage of the fear. I've been taking advantage of fear since these days, since even before then. I was trained to take care of, I had trained so long by March of 2020, I knew what to do, you know? I knew to buy the worst case scenario. I couldn't believe that. The stock market dumped, but we didn't dump. I was like, oh, we're immune, we're great. And then a couple of days later, we bit the bullet. It was insane. It was crazy. And, man, I fell on my floor of my one-bedroom apartment, turned ghost white. My crypto portfolio went to the lowest it had ever been in years, and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. The pandemic dump there for crypto. That was insane. Was anyone here for this dump? Anyone, you know? This, I was like, this is when I realized, like, I actually, for a splash second, I was like, and I was, my heart palpitated. Because, like, you know, I thought I was out of the rat race. Things were going well. I was building, you know, and then that just like, man, you know, things were going well on February 9th. And a month later, I was like, what? St. Patrick's Day too, right? Like came a week later. It was just like, oh my gosh. Crazy. Crazy. And I remember here, I panic sold some assets right here on St. Patrick's Day of 2018, right here, March 17, 2018. I remember the day we were going to an aquarium. I woke up that morning and I panic sold, you know, and then it bounced. I remember bouncing back. I was like, oh man, I'm like, I panic sold some assets there. I'll never forget it. March 17, 2018. Then I went off to the aquarium with my sister and her kids and my kid, a couple, and I was just like, and I kind of had some fun. It was a really cold day at the aquarium. It was on the end of Long Island somewhere. Man. Wow. Anyway. Why name not green? You got to get into the green club, man. Yeah, you got to just keep showing up. You'll get green. Keep showing up to get green, baby. You got this. You can. You will. You are the best, baby. You will be green if you desire to be green. Why name not green? I would say the same thing, though. I'm back. Why me no green, though? Hey. So, hey, the 3-day chart has the ability. It's still above the 200. If the 21 crosses, that means things are changing. Things are changing. Okay? And that could present some type of a move further to the upside. Let's go to the daily time frame and see. So the daily bounced off the 21-day moving average, and that's all you need. A little bounce off the 21. You know, a little hello. A little, hey, how you doing there? Hey. The only shady thing about this is, look, I mean, you see what I see, right? Possible shoulder, head, and just the right shoulder that just decides, no. So now you've got this 96,000. So now the good thing about this is we had to break back above 94. We did. We're dipping a little back below it. We're finding some support. So here's the deal. We close red today, fine. No worries. It looks like we may. That's fine. This candle, I just want the candle to close somewhere where we're at. Like, I just want to see a nothing burger for the rest of the day. A little bit of a jump. Because, you know what I mean? And then tomorrow we close green. All right? And we get the tweezer bottom like this. And then we get our move back to the upside. So if we close green tomorrow night at 8 p.m., that's when I would think more likely to get into some longs. All right? And this is what I've been doing. Just like waiting for candles to... I'm serious. Like, this is simple stuff. Like right here, when this candle closed green, right? You open up the trade, and then maybe the next day you bounce whatever it is. But there you open up a trade up here. You put the stop below the wicks. There's the only thing about trading the daily is there's some drawdown. You know, it's not like when I like to get in perfectly on the 1 hour. Like, you might chuck it in. You're going to sleep. You're down $400 or $500 if you're going to make a couple grand to $5-6 grand. You know what I mean? But in the morning and the next day, and look, I mean, that would have been a beautiful trade. Just trading, and all you're doing, because I want to make things simple for people. I don't want them to get confused here. And all you're doing is just waiting for this candle to close. See, and you've got what's called a bullish engulfing candle. It tells you that, you know, you should have an uptrended move after that. These wicks should hold you down for your stop losses. That's another thing that it's saying. Okay? Same thing here too. You have a bullish engulfing candle. It tells you that if you get, you know what I mean? Again, there would have been some serious drawdown if you stayed in this trade, but over time, the payout was nice. Here's another bullish engulfing candle that played out. So like 1, 2, no, that actually one played out and it wasn't even bullish. It was like, sometimes I've looked at this. This is a new thing that I'm looking at, but it's called a duality or binary engulfer. And I just came up with this term right now because like a binary star is a star that when you look at it from really far away, it looks like one star. But if you zoom in, it's actually 2 stars. But they're so close together that when you zoom out, they look like one star. That's called a binary star, right? Because that has 2, bi, right? The word bi. So the idea is this, okay? Whenever you're looking, and we're going to get to the beginner's course, the 10-minute up, you know, I'm going to show you something. I'm working on that. I'm printing it. I'm still printing it in my brain. I'm getting it ready, all right? So the idea is this, though, right? This candle and these candles together create a bullish engulfer. And this is what I'm talking about. And I'm experimenting with this idea. As you can see, right? Now, this isn't a bullish engulfing candle by any means. But this one and this one together do engulf this red candle. And, you know, the wick there is the key. I'm not saying that it's not gonna go up or down. It's not like, oh, perfect entry. The key is whenever I've seen the engulfer, if you have the guts to stay in the trade, right? That stop loss doesn't get hit, or that liquidation, however you want to play it, but that area doesn't get hit below the wick. You see? So like this engulfer here, and a stop below the previous wicks, or even a stop below, you know, you get in. This one was a bullish engulfer right here. You could put this, you know, and you get in here with a stop below there. That's a beautiful move. Here's a bullish engulfer. You put there with a, you know what I mean? And you say it's so perfect from the back ends. That's why you demo trade this. All right? And you could demo trade it on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour. It worked last night. I'm going to sleep. And we're going to talk about it as we kind of progress further down, right? So I'm doing a top-down analysis, but I'm also using this area to teach you a lot because there's so much information in here that I don't want you to miss. So another thing that I want to teach you is when we get tight moving averages, the 50, the 100, the 80, and they start really coiling up on the daily, like you're getting ready for this breakout up here. I've seen it so many times. And look, you're above a point of control. It tells me there's some strength here for the bulls that's hidden. People can't really see. And look, you're in it. You're 1, 2. You are making higher lows every time. So again, that's why you wait for tomorrow night to close bullish engulfing. If you're really serious about making a big boy trade and being a big boy with your big boy pants on. So if you want to put some big boy pants on, people, I'm messing around. No, but seriously, I'm talking to myself too. Like, not just you, but if, or big girl pants to all the ladies out there. But if you want to put on some big boy and big girl pants, so you wait for that to trade bullish engulfer. That's what I do, right? And then boom, stop below maybe a wick there, and you see, hey, can I catch the bigger move as they short squeeze the rest of the world? Because most people aren't going to do that for whatever reason. I mean, there's another, that's just, again, it looks so easy to say from beforehand, but I'm telling you, this works on multiple, look, it worked there. I'm just showing you how it plays out. And where's a place that it doesn't play out? Let's talk about it. Let's see a place where it didn't play out. All right, let's find it. Right here, you would have jumped into this bullish engulfer, and that didn't play out too well, However, if you remember, I mean, I was all over that. I was like, man, that's a head and shoulder pattern. And sometimes you got to understand what's happening, and you also have to say that's a high, that's, you're making a lower high. There's rollover, and inside of there, we were losing moving averages. And that's why you got to, right here, I don't know if you remember, we called the short there too. At 107.6, I'll always remember it. That's still in the money, which is insane, right? And all you had to do is enter the short on the right shoulder, stop losses up here. Now look, that's the same idea. That's bearish engulfing. You could put this candle inside of there, so you should short the market right here. Understand? And even if you don't even look at candles or read candles, you know what a head and shoulder pattern is if you watch my channel. I keep it really simple, folks. And if you watch my channel, you can go back in time, hit this date, go to my channel at that date, go watch me, and you'll see me calling out this short, saying, hey, stop loss below the POC, stop loss above this right shoulder, likely to give you a gain. And that's still in the money to this day. I mean, an 80K sell would have been probably sweet as heck. I'm just, and that's why we just keep it simple. And then you can see here, there was an Adam and Eve double bottom. We broke out, we're retesting. It's like we seem to just be kind of really testing this area of liquidity. So I'm still, I got to be honest, like I'm not overly bearish here as much as I thought I would be. In my mind thinks, and as a human, we have all these funny emotions. You wake up in the morning and you just look at the chart for a second, and you might all these, even I have these like human thoughts that don't make sense. Then I assess the market logically with my face on and really do it. And how did you know I have charcoal pants on, man? Dude, you're good, man. This guy's creepy, bro. Did you see me go outside this morning? Are you in my neighborhood, dude? Shout out to Zachary with charcoal pants. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Unbelievable. That's just fascinating. Anyway, shout out to all the people out here. God bless you. And there he is again, Bitcoin Bill. So if you're not green, you can jump in on green. And what you do is you like right click your name and it says like receive gift. It's, I won't have it. It's not going to be the same for me. But there you go. Yeah, Barefoot Trading just said, yeah, Sam, our methods are designed to identify potential Livermore cylinders. I like that you just said that. And I like that you just said that because that's another hope. You could call it copium, but that's another idea. Dude, you're amazing. I'd like to know your background. Who are you, man? That's interesting. You're one of the few people that like, and I don't know, did you ever watch my video on Jesse Livermore here on my channel? Type in Crypto Lifer Jesse Livermore, and I did a whole thing on his life, a nice, beautiful 20-minute, he was from Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts, it's a smaller state, so you take, people from Massachusetts we used to, get along. So they ran the real people from Massachusetts out of Massachusetts. I don't know. Anyway, it's a whole different story. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Been here since around the blockchain, fam. God bless you, Zachary. How the heck did you know I had charcoal pants on, man? I'm just like what's going on, dude? How did you know? Like, it's insane. Yeah, why would you wear socks in your house? Number one, socks would pick up dust and you would slip and probably get hurt. You have to go pick up a toy, run after one of your kids, right? So then why would you wear shoes? Because you wear shoes from the outside in your home. There's no shoes policy in our house. We keep it clean, right? There's always a bot. We have like these little bot robots that are cleaning the house all the time. No, seriously, like we have like 10, I have like 5 of those big robots and they're always like moving around the house. And then we put them away inside this big closet. They like, actually when one comes out, another goes in and they're rotating. And they're always doing something. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm lying. You know that, right? There's no bots in my house. I have those little mini things, just those little discs that move around. We got a couple of those, though. Those were like 3 or 4 of those. Those are all over the place doing stuff. So anyway, this could be a high or low in the daily. Again, you would front run it right now. It's pretty gutsy to get in right now because you don't have the confirmation. Could easily get another red. This could just dump even more. It could make a deeper right shoulder to really complete. We might come right down to this, right? It might be something like that. So for me, getting in now is really high risk. You see, this is the trade that I'm beginning. So what I do is before I make a trade, though, look, we're now more than 24 hours ahead of the trade because I want to see the daily close on Tuesday night. Now, see, I never had the patience to set up trades 36 hours in advance on the bigger time frame. This is new to me. This is something I started doing in the last 18 to 36 months more than in my entire life as a trader because I want to make bigger money on bigger time frames, and you have to evolve to do that. You have to start doing what you used to do on the 7-minute, the 15-minute, the 1-minute, and you have to start doing it on the daily, the 3-day. You have to expand your time horizon, your time frame horizon. That's the beautiful way to say it. So you expand your time frame horizon to get a bigger picture. Okay. Wait till you get a corn. You wear the softest shoe you can find. You're funny. I have never had a corn. I don't get corns. You know why? Because I've rocked barefoot my whole life. Corns, I think, are from wearing the wrong shoes, and what they do is they shift your feet around. But if you walk barefoot all the time, as much as possible, and you go to the beach barefoot, like right when I get to the beach, I leave the shoes in the car. My dad always did. My dad never had a corn on his foot. I never really seen a corn on my dad's foot. He had big feet. He did walk kind of penguin. He did the Andrew Tate slightly. He walked with his feet outwards, but in a bigger kind of more panda bear. Like my dad was just kind of like a big dude, like larger in formation than most people. Like he was just. But anyway, God bless my dad. I love him. And guess what, everybody? No crying today. Can you believe that? Please don't. No, don't do it. Nah, some days it hits hard. Some days it just, I could say it 100 times. God bless my mom and dad, Daisy and Finn, man. They're here every day. See? It goes by like that, no problem. I'm into the charts, man. The market's hot right now. There's something interesting going on, and I'm electric. So I can feel it. I can smell it. I can taste it like a shock in the water over here. And, if we're ready for opportunity, we will find it. If we sit and LARP and cry about everything, then we will, that's what we're going to do. And I refuse to be that person. I refuse to do that. So I'm looking for opportunity. Whether it's short or long, I want to see if it's coming. So yeah. And again, the one thing I have seen is you can front run the daily by waiting for a tweezer bottom on the 12-hour, or the 8-hour, right? Right now, we are getting an 8-hour tweezer bottom, so you could wait for the 8-hour to close in 8 hours. It just opened. Or did that one just close? Hold on. Yeah, so this, technically, it's not a bullish engulfing, so it's tough. But it is a tweezer bottom. You could technically enter the trade right here with a stop below this wick. Again, I'm not saying that's, you know what I mean? I think it's a little high risk on it. I want to wait for the daily, personally. I think if I wait for the daily, I'm going to get a better confirmation. What you're looking for here on the 8-hour, though, is kind of like an inverted head and shoulder, you see? I feel like it has to hit the bottom, but, that is the bottom channel. So there you are with the first beginnings. And this is how the daily candle eventually does build. You got to get that 8-hour to close. This is why I use these time frames. Each time frame builds. It's just like a stepping stone. It's just like how you build a set of stairs. It's one set of stairs. Each little bit steps creates the stairway. Very high risk, but I like a long on the daily for SWE up to the daily 200 MA. Stop loss at 129. Could you take a look? Yes, we will. Taylor Murphy lives. God bless you. Yeah. Are you wearing shoes, socks? No, never. I've never worn shoes or socks on this channel. I am always barefoot. It's called barefoot trading. This is the barefoot trading channel. Yeah, what I do have is a husky mat. All right. Because if you don't have a husky mat in Florida, we don't have basements. We're on slab here. And your feet will hurt if you're here, you know. Shout out to Master Friend. God bless Master Friend of the house. My buddy. Shout out to all my awesome people that kick it with me every single day and hang with the lifer. May God bless you and each and every one of you. Thank you for being awesome and amazing. You know, and if you want to learn how to trade better, join the trading group. We have so many other options for you once you get in. That'll teach you more things than you would ever learn. You don't have to join the trading group. I'm here every single day. But if you learn from me, you gain the knowledge and you get some gains, then jump on in. What I like to do is give free value here every single day. If the value is amazing for you, you like it, come on in and go to cryptolifer.com and join the trading group, right? By any means, I want to give you value first, produce so much value for you that you feel like compelled to join the trading group because you're like, you know what? This man's already given me so much value and he's already, like what if you watch this channel, got the education, proper risk management, made right trades, demo traded what I've taught you, formed a plan, used that plan. Next thing you know, you've made a couple grand in a couple months or two. And you're like, you know what? I'll join for the year. And you pay for the year, you jump in my trading group. And you're still up a few thousand and you watch the stream and then you contribute to the trading group. You help other people that can't understand, that got frustrated. You say, hey, I understand. I was like that at the beginning. And you help my trading group grow. You actually become a sentinel in the trading group. And then what happens is the universe goes, wow, you're a giver, huh? You found from Sam, you made gains. You gave back to him because you made gains because you're a real person. And you wouldn't believe the rewards that come from that. Honestly, and again, it sounds like a perfect story. Yeah, boy, you know what I mean? But that's what I did with my life. You know, I joined a trading group. I helped the people in the group as I got better. I stayed in the group for years until my mentor passed away. The one that started the trading group is now passed. The trading group isn't there anymore. It's gone. I never left the trading group that I joined for whatever reason. Like you know what I mean? It's weird, right? Most people join a trading group. Eventually they leave it, right? I joined my trading group and never left. You know, thank God I started mine because, you know, the one I was in eventually fell apart about a year and a half later when my mentor passed. It's so crazy. And he was there. He said, hey, what are you doing with your YouTube channel? He pushed me, you know. Anyway, we got Dash on board right now. Just something I'm looking at. Amazing, right? And again, I'm not going to break down there either. It's just, these are just things that happen. So I just love telling my story because I never left the trading group I started in, which is kind of crazy. I find that very unique and strange. But it was basically, I was meant to be in the trading group industry. I was meant to be, you know, a trading group mentor. This is something that my destiny had set for me. I didn't even know when I joined that trading group that day that I'd become the crypto lifer and have my own trade. I never thought that would, you know what I mean? Never in my life. I didn't, I'm going to join a trading group to start my own. I had no clue. I didn't even know what a trading group was. I had no idea they even existed. I had no clue what the heck went on. I thought everything online was actually kind of sketchy. I'll be honest. I was sketched out by everything. I didn't trust myself because I used to tell myself I was going to do something and not do it a lot. I'm going to work out next week and I wouldn't do it. So when I didn't believe what I was going to say, how could I believe anyone else? 100%. So because I was untrustworthy to me, it was very hard to believe anyone could help me. So I saw self-help people. I saw exercise gurus. I saw trading people, and I thought every one of them was a scammer. I thought every single one of them. I really did. I have to be honest. I thought it was all, but you know, and then I finally joined a trading group, and I learned so much from the dude, and he became my friend. And I watched him soar. I watched him buy a Lambo. I watched him change his life. And I remember when he bought the Lambo, like, I was like, wow, man, his life is on just such another level. I looked at him like, man, I was never jealous of him. I did see him like, wow, like it fascinated me. I'll have to be honest, because I was at a level where I never thought in my life I'd ever be able to even touch that. And he buys his black Lambo and he shows it off one day. And I was just like, and he's like, this is hard work. And he shows like the motor trailer that he started in. He's like, this was just me like 7 years back, man. And I was like, man, this guy. And that motivated me. I have to be honest. It got me going. It really did. So look at the 4-hour time frame. Last night we talked about entering this trade, right? And I showed it to the trading group. Okay? And why? Again, the smooth moving average, which I'm going to show you in a second and we're going to break down. All right? I'll show you right now. So you get rid of the 5MA and you just go over here to indicators, okay? And type in the SMMA. And it's going to give you the smooth moving average, smoothed, okay? It has a different algorithm attached to it. It's actually a lot stronger to break. Basically, when you break through a smoothed moving average, the odds of you holding the level are just higher even, specifically, and I backtested myself over time, specifically, okay? Specifically if you also have, let's see here. Hold on, I want to look at this. Now it looks strange on it. Where were we here? On the 4 hour, right? Yeah. Hold on, yeah, because I'm not getting my same reading here. Let's see why. Source close, yeah. Interesting. See, on my MEXC chart, I'm getting a bounce. On my MEXC chart, I get a beautiful bounce off the smooth moving average. So last night, I looked at it. I was like, I'm taking that. I just want to see what gave this a different reading on the smooth. Oh, it could be I'm on a futures chart, but that shouldn't have mattered. Let's just double check, though. I'll take MEXC perpetual. Oh, still below. Interesting. That befuddles me. Source open or source close. Yeah, source close. SSMA. That bugs me out a little bit. Interesting. The idea behind it is it's a very strong moving average. All right. Like you get above the smooth moving average, high chance you're going to get a pretty big move to the upside. It just stabilizes price action for whatever reason because it has a harder algorithm to break through. That's the idea behind the smooth moving average, okay? Like at the end of the day. Funny, it should look perfect. I'm like, huh, befuddled, right? But that's the kind of idea behind a smooth moving average. That you would see this, you would see kind of a greater breakthrough if you use it. So what I do, right, is if let's just say I'm on the 1 minute or I'm trading on the smaller time frame, is I'd slap on the smooth moving average. And when I put it on, if we get back above the move, both of the 200 and the smooth at the same time, there's a good chance that we're going to have a bigger move, right? So look, here's the smooth right here on the daily. If we get back above this on the daily, I mean, that's going to be, to me, a bigger sign you're going to head to the 200 moving average too. Once you get in between the smooth and the 200, there's fireworks. You put that inside of a VRVP, look at it, we've broken above the point of control. Like this was a beautiful entry there with the bounce, and now we're making higher lows. I got to be honest, this looks, like we're continue to climb back to some possibly 106 area. And I guess I'm being a little overly bullish, and I'm waiting for confirmation again. I want to see the daily candle close tomorrow night. That's going to be what we're looking for. That's going to be the key. All right. If we get that close tomorrow night, I'm going to be like, yes, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Interesting. And again, sometimes you never know. It could be it could even be just TradingView. Unlikely though. Usually, it's pretty on point. Well, look, here's our smooth moving average here too today. I mean, you're above it on the 1 hour time frame. That's a very bullish sign with the higher low. All right. Like even here today, you just made a bullish engulfing candle, right? So it suggests that if you could hang out here and just sit tight, that this, you should be able to win the trade by logic of the bullish engulfer. The fact that you could put this red candle in that green one. Now, I don't like this setup, and I don't love where we're at today, like purposely on the idea. But you can see, I mean, clean manipulation spike, right? Just to kind of clean out some late longs or anyone that thought this, support and resistance was going to hold. I said it looked good, but I said Sunday I would not trade until Monday night at 8 p.m., right? Because you knew some funny business was going on the second, and that was exactly like right here. What 8:18 was at when the market the CME opened, and we're gonna see if there was no gap because the CME opened immediately, and that's exactly oop. So futures open And I even said, yeah, we'll probably go sideways into the CME and then boom, right? So the more we're attached to institutional money, the more we're seeing this every single time the CME opens on Sunday at 6 p.m. Like, get ready. Like, you're going to have massive volatility. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're going to get volatility. So that's what we saw. All right, that's kind of what went down. And that's why we had such a massive move. And there was, with no liquidity here today, with it being Martin Luther King Day, always shady business. I'm telling you right now, I've seen shady business my whole life when it comes to a day when there's no liquidity in TradFi. So again, back to the basics. What are we looking for? We're looking for this to create a higher low. What is the confirmation? We're waiting to see if tomorrow night we close a green candle next to a red one, preferably a bullish engulfing candle. If this candle can go inside of that candle, we're looking pretty good. We're looking for a move. I'll try my best with the demo. I can't be in the trading group yet, but I will soon. Once it happens, I'll know I'll be profitable. Thank you, Sam. I'll continue supporting your Instagram. Amen. Thank you, man. Keep doing your thing. It's one step at a time, everybody. Nobody blows up overnight. No one becomes successful overnight. And there might be some years that are harder than others. There might be ups. There might be downs. All you can do is keep pushing every single day for what you believe in. That's all you can do. There's nothing else, you know? Every single day, push for what you believe in. Every single day, push for what you believe in. I'll say it again. Every single day, push for what you believe in. But you got to have a goal. You have to know what you believe in. You have to have a desire. To have those, you got to be somewhat motivated or at least attached to an idea that you want to keep going for. I mean, we're on our way now, right? We got to set it for 250,000 subscribers, right? That's my next big goal. Like, and I'm just going to go until I hit 250,000 subscribers. It might take me 3 years. It might take me 2. It might take me 6. It might take me 7. It might take me 1. Who knows? I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not really into that. I'm just going to put my head down and grind until I get there, right? So taking this channel to 250,000 subs, and that's going to be, you know, one of the hardest tasks that I've ever done in my entire life. Might even be harder from getting 10,000 to 100,000, you know what I mean? But I'm never going to give up on what I love. I'm never going to give up on this beautiful channel, and I'm never going to give up on each and every one of you. So, you know, honestly, this looks like that thing that I do whenever they like broke us out, but kind of put you back inside a pattern. It's kind of interesting. They do stuff like this all the time. Or they, you know, it's like the drip, but like the market will break out, come back, but then you're still inside of this overall channel that then breaks out back to the upside. There's some hidden bullish here too, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you could kind of take this, swing that down, you could swing this up, and this says you're going to break this high before you break this low, which is very interesting. You're very oversold in the stochastic RSI on the 4-hour time frame. So the bears tried again, but it looks like there was an appetite for buying, right? So this is still starting to brew here for me. So I'm looking at the daily. I'm hunching in on the 4-hour. You can see it's starting to look interesting. I'm just speculating over here. And you kind of, you're attempting to try to build this higher low. It doesn't look great. You turn on the moving averages, they're getting tighter. 5 minutes, 7 minutes. The 5 minutes back above this 200. Touching the 21. So there you have it. Like, if we're bullish, what's going to happen is we're going to go sideways here. You see? Look at that too. You see how it looks like a possible shoulder, head, shoulder. Like, you got to get above the 200 moving average. That's the key for any type of move throughout the day. Like, if this gets rejected, these turns into descenders, and then the chart will just continue down. If you can't get above, so the first thing I look for every single time we get any reversal or it looks like we could reverse. So today, if those daily candles do hold, if the 4-hour does want a tweezer bottom, and if everything starts going our way, the first thing we're going to see is a movement here from 93 all the way up, right, to about 93,576. We're going to see some kind of, otherwise, if we're bearish, shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? So I'm not saying I know what's going to happen. I'm saying let's watch the small time frames for confirmation. I'm already pretty sure I'm not going to be trading right now live until probably either tonight. I love Mondays after 8 p.m. because that's when like we'll figure this out. Like Monday at 8 p.m., we could be well above all this. We could be out here. We could be doing the actual, we could be making my model on the 15-minute, like tonight at 9 p.m. And it could look so strong and then boom, and I could wake up in gains and take that beautiful trade, right? Or we could be dumping. Like this could be a bear flag that just continues lower and we could be down here. So, and then I could be getting the reversal the next morning. So the key is to just sit tight, wait for what I desire to trade to come to me and do nothing else. Trade less, make more. 2026, that's the motto for 2026. Trade less, make more. Every single time. Right? Hey, Leifer, what do you think of DRB? You know, I like it because Grok's attached to it, and I think it's interesting. And we looked at it. It did make some gains. It's the only thing I would look at. The only thing I'm really considering. Look, it's right here on my radar. And look, I see it kind of in this. See, I didn't give this to anyone. I did this by myself last night. And I don't even have the rest of my indicators on. I don't really need them. I like to look at these just kind of how they are. My previous support is resistance, getting tight in the zone. And yeah, I did some research on this and I gave it to the team. If you're in my trading group, I gave you a whole paragraph on this. You know all about it. Kind of understand why I'm interested in it and why I could do something. Again, it could also go to zero and turn to nothing. Highly speculative, and be very careful. And don't do anything you see anyone do on YouTube. Just get some education, learn, understand. Like if anything, learn how I research this coin and learn to understand what I believe could be possible. It's attached to Grok, and I know Grok's hot, so Grok trends on its own and does its thing. So it's funny. I thought it's weird when I got two different things going on. That's like a mess, you know. So I would have to watch the 5-minute time frame to see what it does, what it do. Like, I hope I delete all that. I can't even look at that. I don't want to look at that. All right, there we go. Yeah. So I'm watching the 5-minute time frame, and to me personally, that could turn into a beautiful trade. If the 21 comes complete, that's my, when the 21, especially with the 200 moving down like this is a good sign. Because that's like a vertical, right? Anyway, I'm not trying to tell you what's going to happen. I'm showing you what is likely based on years of doing this. So, okay. Why do I believe this could pump? Or why does the technical analysis convey? Well, let me show you. Let's go back in time. BTC, USDT on Bybit. All right. I'm just going to, not even, it doesn't matter. See, we could go on, coin anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'm not like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all the indicators here. All right. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. All right. And then I'm going to even delete the moving averages. Okay. Hey, Lifer, what do you think of DRB? Yeah, thank you. What's Bookmap saying? Let me take a look at the fan funding real quick. I'm not done with Bitcoin just yet, though. Hey, Lifer, what do you think of DRV? How does the MACD work? How to add it? Okay, we'll go. Yeah, very high risk, but I like a long daily for SWI on the 200 moving average. Are you wearing shoes or socks? No. And your experience, I thought we already answered that. Like, with the actual clarity, right? It's funny. Yeah, very high risk SUI up to the 200 moving average stop loss. Yeah, I like the daily. Yeah, we'll take a look at SUI right now, just real quick for Taylor, and then I'm going to jump back into what I'm doing here. I got these two Bitcoin charts. Bitcoin looking interesting. It's starting to set up my model on the 5-minute time frame, which is stronger than the 1 minute. Okay, it is. It kind of has a backwards Adam and Eve, right? Where you have like the round and then this. I've seen that play out over time. It's not perfect, but I have seen that play out. Let's take a look at SWI on the daily time frame for Taylor Murphy Lives. He just wants to kind of add some knowledge my way and see if I see what he's seeing. I'm interested in his conversation here. It's that to me is wow. I kind of see what you're seeing, but to me, it's the old me, I think, would probably love it. The new me, last like 2.5 years, I've been getting more and more conservative. To me, I would have liked to have seen that stay inside the pocket, personally. I'm still not a huge fan of altcoins at the present moment in time. And the reason being is, remember when we looked at tether dominance on my macro technical analysis video every Friday, I really heed everybody take a look at that video. And remember, we do have Bookmap down here at about 85.5 too. These liquidations may not be done. I just want that to be clear. I don't want people to get like overly bullish here. Remember, I'm saying wait for the daily to close Tuesday night, really, for like a mass, if we don't get that, like, this is a fake. This could be definitely a fake out. 93K is cool. I like that we're doing our thing. I like that we're hanging. But, you know, it's definitely, you know, one step at a time. Because if you overstep your boundaries here, you think you're so, you know, hot sauce and you go over leveraging. That's what they want right now. That's what they want right now. We still have to get that bigger direction. Once they let it go, once we fly past 95, 97, and we really make the move, there's going to be a good momentum. And there's going to be some waves to ride. And there's going to be a lot more shorts to liquidate too as well. So yeah, this is tough for me. You know, if anything, I'd say it would have to bounce back. Something like this. You see how I'm building this out? It could be the low buy. And then you make this inverted and you get it back. But usually I want all these to be tight. Everything, right? Get tight. Yeah, I see what you're saying though. Yeah, it is setting up for the move. And you're above this level, right? That's a POC right there. And you just bounce right off the point of control. So technically that's a VRVP trade, which is the volume range, you know, visible range volume profile. And you're basically trading the VRVP tight, very tight, with a bounce here off this key level. 4 hour looks bullish to me. It looks like it's creating yet another tweezer bottom. If you look here, it looks like it's creating yet another tweezer bottom on the 4 hour time frame. See that? That closes bullish engulfing. We have another chance here for a bounce. And I'm telling you, like a low volume, like a volume move on the weekend like that, we could easily recover back, even on a Monday. Especially with like people saying, hey, there's going to be, you know, we're the capital of crypto in the world and all this stuff. I mean, come on. All right. Here's the silver trade still cooking. Remember, we took the profits from the silver trade, put them back in another trade. Now this is how you compound. And this is how you don't over risk. Like, why does everyone have to be like the biggest? Why does everyone have to make tons and tons and tons? Remember, every time you risk a like if I had made 100 grand on this trade, or maybe 50, whatever it is, remember the risk would have been very heavy. And if one move went the wrong way, I would have lost massive amounts of money. Here, I could only lose what I last made. You see, so I'm, you know what I mean? I guess I'd be back to break even fine, but hey, I'm willing to take shots and just keep adding. And we'll take a look at silver in a while. So yeah, this looks interesting. And with the dollar's taking a big hit right now too, that's going to be hard to dump Bitcoin when the dollar's going down, because innately that's going to prop the price of Bitcoin up. It's just going to, you know what I mean? Especially in Forex markets. Bitcoin's definitely Forex. If you think about it, when you trade Bitcoin, you're trading Forex. No one really talks about it. Everyone's like, oh, I'm a Bitcoin trader. Oh, I trade Forex. We're trading the same thing, dude. We're trading currencies. Bitcoin's a currency. USD is currency. I get it. I could trade Bitcoin for the Turkish dollar, trade the Turkish dollar back into Bitcoin, then trade Bitcoin back into, maybe there's probably Bitcoin arbitrage in Forex too. You know, and Bitcoin probably makes, I bet Forex, I just had an epiphany, but Forex traders could get an account that's BTC only and then trade complete BTCC against Forex all day long. You know what I mean? The Turkish lira, that's insane. But to me, that's interesting. That's a very interesting idea. Because it's Forex trading technically, right? And there's money to be made there. So look, the same kind of idea with Bitcoin. If we are going to get the bounce, it looks like it could be a massive inverted head and shoulder, you know, back to the upside. So this is what I do. You start building the idea that you're going to bounce on the smaller time frame, on the bigger time frame, 4 hour, the daily, specifically the 4 hour and the daily. I want to see in the 4 hour and the daily are really starting to make a move. Once I see the 4 hour and the daily are kind of starting to go my way, and I like what's happening, then I start adding other time frames. You know, then I'm looking at the 15-minute. Look, that's a bullish sign. The 5 minutes now above the 200, bouncing off the 20, the 21. You can even say this is the bigger channel right here. Look, I mean, look at this. See that? Would be the first time I've seen something like this break out to the upside. And even if they say, fine, you're creative, you're seeing things other people don't see, it doesn't matter. If you see something and it plays out, then that's you. So look, this is the model here that I've taught for so long. And remember the other day we put this out and it happened right in front of everybody. And again, like, I like the stop loss below the 200. Gives you a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, isn't the best. Kind of have to shave and you still, you get 292 right there. 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. But you have to be kind of in some danger there. You do just go below the 1 minute 200, and you're getting the signal on the 1 minute. You're above the 291, above the 200. This tells me we should short squeeze up to 93.8. You know, I've seen it many times in my life. If we don't, so be it. But I'd say 7 out of 10 times when I've seen this happen, we've short squeezed to the upside. And I can't guarantee it, right? Because I went over how no one's 100%. But let's see what happens. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see if my probabilities are right or I just look like a fool. We'll find out, right? What are your thoughts on BTC 4-year cycle? Thanks for everything. So much appreciated. You know, I'm still stuck in the idea that no, that's a good question, honestly. Before I answer that, I actually have to ask myself, because I haven't asked myself in a couple weeks, and you know, I have evolved since the last time I answered this question for myself. I mean, the 4-year cycle, I think it's good to think that all things pull back when they get overheated, no matter what they are. And you can even look at Bitcoin's 4-year cycle just as like what happens to markets when they get overheated. At the same time, there's going to be more scarcity for Bitcoin than ever. And some people, there's two ideas here. Look at that nice pump for Bitcoin. You can kind of see it, right? Above the two. This is what's supposed to happen. See? So now, maybe Sammy is becoming the smart guy over here. You know, but seriously, we're starting to get the move that we were looking for. And remember, if this could be the bottom for Sweet with that higher low. I mean, I think the fear should be back at like a 38, though. Nice little dump here, but it didn't go much further than 44. It's still telling you that this could be some of the last chances to buy BTC above 90K before we get the bigger move. We're still above the 3-day 200 moving average, which to me is just the golden goose of trading. Like, we could still get this massive move here that nobody's expecting because nobody's looking at those indicators from a bigger perspective, right? I'm not saying I'm always right, but it's interesting. We're on the other side of the trade for most people. That's important. We don't want to be going too hard on those areas. You know what I mean? Because if you go really hard on those areas, just think what can happen. Right? So I'm just... but I really like this. I really like this 3-day 200 moving average, man. It tells me there's this ticket that no one's looking at. Okay? And here we are with Peter Schiff 2 issues spectacular crash warning, and Bitcoin price chart proves him right. Bitcoin is back with another Bitcoin obituary. Everyone expects Bitcoin to fall as gold's lead and rally to new highs, but the market has given speculators way too much time to buy. What's far more likely is that Bitcoin's failure to match gold's gains undermines its narrative as digital gold. No. I disagree. Yeah, I was with so many Bitcoiners this week that really broke down how it's a superior asset to the base layer for mortgages. And there's a company called the People's Reserve where you can get a Bitcoin mortgage. And done in a way that I've never seen. Done in an amazing way. Balanced out where the equity through Bitcoin is transferred into the mortgage value, which produces less risk for both the mortgage holder and the mortgage creator. Way less risk than having connected to the US dollar, which is losing massive purchasing power, right? So that's, do you really want your mortgage in something that's gone up for the last, basically since 2009? Or do you want your mortgage in something that's been going down, attached to something that's been going down since 2009? For me, I'd rather be the first asset I talked about, not the latter, right? So again, that's just how it works. So look, there we go, man. The model playing out. You snap off the 21 above the 200. I see it time and time again. I don't care what day, time, or space it's in. And I see it happen on every asset that I've watched. I see it happen on the monthly, the weekly. The key is, are you stuck in charts? I'm stuck in the matrix, meaning I can see this on any asset. You'll be able to see it on any asset. Just hang with me every day on this channel. You're going to learn so much. And it's funny, imagine listening. Remember, me and Peter Schiff just went at it on my channel. You're like, no, you guys didn't. Yeah, we did. It was amazing. Me and Peter, man. Right here. And 3 days ago, I published this on my channel. Jump on in. Me and Peter went at it, had a beautiful talk on Spaces, and it was awesome. So what are your thoughts on Bitcoin 4-year cycle? Thanks. So I believe that, the 4-year cycle has been slightly tweaked. And the reason is, look, we didn't pump into the halving. We pumped pre-halving. To me, that's when the cycle started to break. because we didn't pump the way we were supposed to, because institutions got so excited about the halving and they knew about it, they front ran the halving, creating a tweak in volume and a tweak in expectations and also a tweak in how the cycle really usually plays out. Let's be honest. And look, that's even shoulder, head, right shoulder. You can see how that, I just like what's happening here. This is interesting. Bitcoin to 93.2, nice little bounce off the low. The low bounce to was 92.276. And again, if you took my trade last night in the trading group, you're still in the gains right now on that 4-hour time frame. Just to make that clear. Yes, I mean, if you run a trading group and you wake up on Monday and you show people that exactly what you were looking at right here, this is super high risk long, front run the 4-hour tweezer bottom. But it's simple ideas. I'm not trying to, and see, what I'm showing you is just an idea. Just anything that you could take advantage of on your own, something that you could do, we could all do together, right? And we could learn together, sorry. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, like, what I mean is it's a simple idea. It's not something you have to have been trading for years to figure out. You could pick up on this idea within a couple weeks if you're really serious about trading. And you could begin to implement this thing within a few days. That's the beauty of like giving people simple things to do. You know, instead of giving you like a 20-page, I mean, I could give you 20 videos to watch on how to trade, which is great. I think that's actually beautiful. Anyone that does that is a blessing. But just come to the channel every day, and I'm just going to give you that inside of what I'm doing, right? I'm going to kind of weave it into the trades every day. Weave it into what we're talking about, weave it into what we're doing. But look, this is a bullish sign here. We get back here to 93,850, and like we can start to cook. Everyone, please hit the like button. That's how we get to the next level. You get 1,500 to 1,600 people on the channel. We will start to blow. It'll be insane. Jump on in. I greatly appreciate it. All right. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Let's get the likes up to the watchers too. I would greatly appreciate it. And shout out to everyone that did hit the like button. I'm so grateful for every single person that did hit that like button. All right. Yeah. Yeah. We love each and every one of you, and we appreciate you all for jumping on in and being amazing, okay? You're awesome and you're blessed. If you're here every day and you're supporting my channel, you're supporting a small business, a man and his 3 kids, and it's the American dream. So God bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. May my prosperity lead to your prosperity, and your prosperity lead to my prosperity. May the flywheel of high frequency continue to grow inside of this channel. And God bless everybody here. Thank you so much. 4-year cycle only mattered when the halving had a significant, let's see what he's saying here. And we'll pop out the chat. And let me just check out fan funding again. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin for you? You know, yeah, so I just think there is so much money in. I'd like to believe it's still there, to be cautious. You see what I'm saying? And I'm open-minded, to be honest. Like, I don't, and to me, it doesn't really matter. You know why? Because I'm committed to being Bitcoin for 10 years, whether the 4-year cycle is broken or not. You say, well, it doesn't have a lot to do with your... It doesn't. You know why? Because the reason I got into Bitcoin, honestly, was not because... I mean, the 4-year cycle was amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, the halving is sick. Like, that's one of the reasons I got into the halving. I love it. Like, the definition of the halving. Okay? And you know what's funny is there's always going to be a halving every 4 years. So I think I just had such a fast way to explain this, and now I have to slow down how my mind gave it to me. Here we go. Ready? It's going to go. So, but due to inflation, they've printed so much money, and the inflation has given anything worth value an inflated value asset. It doesn't matter what it is, from Bitcoin to gold. Dang, a spatula is worth more than it used to be. A sink, a toilet, heck, a ride to the mall in Uber is worth more than it used to be. I mean, actually, they've gas prices actually are pretty level, but you know what I mean. Things have gotten inflated. Everything is. And they've gotten to a level where it's like, and so even Bitcoin, sucked up a lot of this extra liquidity. They printed 80% of the world's supply of money since 2020. That's kind of scary. Like, think about it. And the dollar's been around for like 100 years. And, it's just crazy to think about it. It's insane. So 80% of the money supply since 2020, that's an extraction of wealth for sure. They've extracted your parents' wealth, my wealth, everybody's wealth around us. They've extracted wealth right out of the system, right out of your hand. 100%. This is what I teach every single day. This is why I got into BTC. So the whole point is this. We understand that, right? So boom. So Bitcoin hyperinflated. And then institutions got in super early. Then we'll still have, and then that means no matter what asset gets inflated, there's a cool off period. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin goes from 90 to 270,000 though in the next year and a half to 2 years. Then we might cool off. You see what I'm saying? And that would be, 2 years from now. And then the halving comes in. I think with the institutions, people buying up the supply and it getting scarcer and scarcer on exchanges, I believe in the next 5 to 6 years, you're going to see such mass scarcity for Bitcoin. It's going to be harder and harder to buy. I think there's going to be a less and less chance to buy Bitcoin than ever. Personally, it's just, that's just what I'm going to talk about Bitcoin in a way that my dad had a story. My dad passed away, right? And I'm not going to cry about this. This is awesome. You're going to love this story. It's a good story. And don't worry, it has nothing to do with his death. God bless him, right? People die. It happens, right? We're not going to stay, again, I promise this week we're not going to cry. We're not going to talk about death too much. If it comes up, we're going to over it real quick. That was last week, all right? We're on a new thing this week, No, but seriously. No more. But my dad had this thing, like, there's an island called Martha's Vineyard, all right, in Massachusetts, and it only has so much beaches, right? Because it's like a 84 square mile island, right? It's not huge. And my dad got there super early in the 60s, and there was beaches for auction. And he was there, and he could have thrown down like $15,000 for beaches that are worth millions now. Seriously. And it's been 40, 50 years since he had the chance. Like, he was 30. He died at 76. 40 years, really. And you would have like 100x or more. There was definitely 100x opportunities on this real estate. For sure. I'm telling you, in 40 years, there was 100x opportunities. Does that mean somewhere in the world right now, there could be 100x opportunities in real estate in the next 40 years? I believe so. I mean, population decline does kind of make me a little nervous. 777s, when I talk about my dad, look at, there they are. So funny every time. So crazy, right? It does it every time. It's so interesting. Anyway, so you can say, oh, it's just a coincidence. Maybe it is, but even that's amazing. So my point is, I believe Bitcoin is the same way. Like right now, Bitcoin is such a scarce asset. And right now, you can't buy into those beaches anymore. Unless you have like 50, 60 mil and you're buying the property attached to a beach. To buy a beach on that island, I think the closest you can buy some beaches that are like, we also have ponds, and there people have houses on the pond for maybe 4 mil, 3 mil. I think I've seen a couple for like 3.7 mil with pond views and a pond beach. But to get like the real ocean beach view there, you got to spend at least, I think it's like 10 mil, at this point. And and some of them are the rocky ones on the northeast, right? To get the real nice southern beaches, like to really own them. And there's keys you can buy. I think there's keys right now. There's a beach you pay for access. It's $110,000 for the key. You see? And you even have to know someone to buy the key. Like they're only going to sell the key to if you like really get in. They have to background check. They have to know you. You have to get like really scrutinized. And then if they like decide you're in, they'll sell you the key. And I even know, even just to know about that key, actually, you have to be on the end. I shouldn't even, But there's beaches where you can buy access for $100,000 just for the key to open the gate to go to that beach. $100K just to get in. And there's probably like a fee a month, like a yearly fee too, or something. You see, it's like a beach club kind of thing. So like, again, I believe Bitcoin is the same way. It's extremely scarce as those beaches on that island. And I think you want to look at it that way. It's digital scarcity in real estate. It's digital real estate, digital scarcity, but you don't have to take care of the toilet, right? You don't have to, you don't have to check the windows every day. You don't have to put anything into the roof. It's digital scarcity on a level that people, I don't think, still really truly understand. I think a lot of the world still is afraid of Bitcoin or doesn't invest or doesn't really fully because they don't get it. And I think that was the whole point. The institutions don't want you to understand it. Education is scarce, even though it seems prevalent. And there's a lot of us out here teaching. I watched Gen Z recently. It was awesome. At the conference in Naples, they had kids there from the age, I believe, of like, I'd say 22 to 25, or let's say 20 to 25. And they were talking about a lot of their friends are afraid of Bitcoin and crypto because their parents are afraid of Bitcoin and crypto and tell them to be careful about it. Don't be getting into that. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, some people's parents are like, stay away from that crypto stuff. I'm serious. That's what a kid said to me. And he's like, so people aren't like really as open to Bitcoin as they could be, And that blew my mind because, like, I never really just, you know, and he says, so that, you know, and again, that was his experience. I'm not saying that's everywhere, but that's something that we've been seeing. And you know, so as prevalent as it got, like, I thought when I first got into Bitcoin, I thought it would be far more popular now than it is. You see what I mean? Like, it's popular, but it's popular among the people who understand finance, and it's popular among the people that understand value. Right? You know what I mean? Check 1 2 1 2. So that's just like one thing that's, you know, we need it to be more popular among the populace. You know, that's something that I think we want to expand it. And that's why I'm here every single day. Every single day. The more dedication you put into, literally, we're a niche in the industry. I'll always look at this between all the traders, and that's why I love everyone that streams crypto. Like, when I get off, if someone else is streaming, it's amazing because it's only sending out the signal further. We're a niche in all of YouTube. Soccer, you know, betting, finance, right? Cooking, you know, bodybuilding, right? And then crypto, traders, Forex traders, right? And there's that, you know, and so we want the biggest, we want to at least kind of grow as a niche compared to all the other niches on YouTube as a whole. I can't do that. I can get as big as I want, but I'm still one, even if I had a huge million following and I was one of the bigger channels, right? So, like, every one of us contributes that streams, everyone that puts crypto or even trading, anyone that mentions trading innately could lean back to me, right? The algorithm could eventually feed them my channel in some way. So that's why when you believe you want everyone to do well, it's only going to help you, right? So you know, people think in business, it's good to believe that business is competitive, right? And this is what I like to say, like, and this is what I think about business. And man, you should compete with yourself. But let's just say someone says they can deliver a pizza at a certain time, and you know you could cut that time in half per a certain radius. And so you say, you know, I believe we can deliver our pizzas a little faster, right? That's competitive, right? But what it also does is it helps the consumer get their pizza quicker, right? Because people decide, hey, we can make a better system to get pizza faster to the people. You know, I'm going to start flying drones with the, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm just, it's a thing, you know what I mean? So whatever it is that creates that fast speed, it's an innovation. Usually it's innovation that creates the, you know, that. So the point is, why are we talking about pizza and drones? The thing is, it's about having, you know, competition leads to things better for the consumer. That's the same here as exchanges. The more exchanges we have, the more competition there is. And the more they have to cater to us and make it better for us. So look at Bitcoin. They had the nasty dip, had these double dot dips. Now, could we have an inverted head and shoulder here? Do we flag out on the 5-minute time frame? Things are looking okay for BTC. So what I start looking is for this idea. I look for this to channel its way into some type of flag, pull the 21 up, touch price action, and get the move further to the upside. And we get that, we can get a bigger move. And that's kind of, you know, that's how the move happens. So we talked about the 4-hour, we talked about the daily, and now I'm showing you how you watch the smaller time frames. This is how you use moving averages to see how price action moves through smaller time frames into bigger ones, so you can kind of get a handle of what's happening. Let's take a look at Forex Factory and see what we have coming for the week ahead, because there's going to be volatility, and I want to show you when and where it's likely going to happen. Because if you're not ready, you could be caught off guard. And I've even been caught off guard even when I've known this was going to happen. As funny as that is, because you're just like, you know, you can get in the middle of a trade. Like, if say I have to, out of nowhere, oh, my daughter's supposed to get a ride to school, then she doesn't. Hey, Sam, could you bring her out of nowhere? And you're about to get into the trade. And you just forget it's Monday at 8:30 and CPI's come. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no. Anyway, I do like to look at Canadian CPI, just interesting to me. They were below forecast here with CPI month over month. Below actual there. Trimmed is the same. Common was the same. And their core CPI, they had no forecast for whatever reason, but previous was negative and they were better. So, like, to me, that says that they're okay, like, you know, somewhat. The lie can continue, you know, whatever, however you want to look at it, right? So tomorrow is Tuesday, January 20th. We are flying through the first month of the year, and we have nothing really coming our way for the United States as far as red folders, okay? Or clean. Wednesday the 21st, we have pending house sales at 10 a.m. And Trump speaks as well, which we know, you know, at around 8:30 in the morning. So, and again, that may or may not, sometimes that happens and doesn't, right? Depending, but that's what it says, 8:30. So I would definitely be paying attention Wednesday at 8:30. I could see something Something brewing there. Okay. Something brewing there. And then core PCE is at that. So Thursday, 8:30 and Friday, 8:30. We have core retail sales month over. Oh, no, we have flash manufacturing. For Friday's like light for us personally. No, nothing. We got nothing. Yeah, flash manufacturing at 9:45 p.m. That's all we got, really, Friday, Red Folder style. So you're looking at Thursday. Okay, Trump speaking tomorrow morning. Hold on, let's go over this one more time. Yeah, so nothing happening. Yeah, so Trump speaking Wednesday morning, 8:30 in the morning, and home sales at 10. And then Thursday, you're looking at what we're going to have, core PCE, personal income. All right, so a lot of data comes in. That's October data coming in, too. All right, unemployment claims also. So, it's actually, wow, we have a lot. Core PCE, unemployment, personal income. And then we also have, October data. So, I haven't ever really seen, a double data like that. That's kind of be a big drop. So, Thursday on the 22nd, and the market could be pricing in some of this stuff already, remember. You look at Bookmap. Bookmap's trying to, pointing out that there's a lot of longs still waiting to get liquidated at 85.9. Doesn't mean they will. Kind of locks in when you zoom out. There's liquidity on either side. And it says we could still even get to 98.5. So, hey, there's a balance of liquidity on either zone. And that makes sense until tomorrow when we get back to TradFi liquidity. Right? Yeah. So we could be making the bounce. Look for the daily tweezer bottoms. I'm telling you how important a tweezer bottom can be. I know it seems unlikely. I know you're like, how could it be that simple? The simple things, that's what happens in trading. I used to look at the simple things and say, there's no way. I'm not doing that. That's just insane. And then you trade for years and years and years. And then the simple thing keeps hitting you, keeps hitting. And one day your subconscious mind just goes, wow, why didn't I just do the simple thing I used to see? And you're like, because I needed to learn. And then you're free. Once you're free, it's your mind has to free yourself from being beaten. It's so weird. That's how trading makes you have neuroplasticity. You begin to learn things differently. You begin to see things differently. You have the ability to to change the way you think about the world and your life because you can see it so differently. Without trading, there's no open-mindedness. I'm not challenged to be as open-minded when I'm not, as a trader, I'm always like, how can I be better? What can I do to be better? What am I doing wrong? There's got to be something I can work on. There's got to be something I can adjust. There's got to be something I have to do. All right. Looking for this 5-minute to get back to the 21-day moving average and get tight and close here. It might be actually a bigger chance. You never know. And it could be a complete dump. I'm not saying this is what I do to watch progression. It's like setting a trap. This is very similar to a lobster trap. You're just setting it there to seeing if he goes into the trap. Price action is the lobster. This is my trap. I know it sounds stupid, but that's really it. It's that simple. If the lobster gets in the trap, then we pull the trap up. Now we can eat, right? It's a little different than that because, the lobster's already in. You kind of win the trade when he gets in the trap. Here we just, you could say, okay, there's a chance that somehow the line breaks on the trap on your way up. So we got him inside. Now we have to pull the line up without losing it, right? That's really not what happens. It's on a rope. If you ever seen lobstering, they have a lobster pot, which is the big square thing that they can go in, but it has this opening that's very narrow, so they can go in, and then when they try to get back out, they can't get back out because it's like a V, right? They come in the V and they can't get back out, and they kind of fall back down. It's made of a mesh, it's made of grate, it's made of metal grating or something, grate, a grate, I should say, right? So that's like see-through clear. A lobster pot. Sounds like, so when someone says a lobster pot, they're not calling it, it's called a lobster pot, lobster trap. In New England, we call it a pot, though. Yeah. Yeah. They look like this. The ones I see are square like this, and they have bricks, and they sit at the bottom of the water, right? And that's a lobster pot right there. And the lobster can kind of creep in, but he can't get out. And it can hold usually between 6 and 10 lobsters, sometimes a little more depending on how big it is, maybe even 20. I don't know, but not too many. And so people put them out, let them sit, and then just come back and pick them up and pull the lobsters right out. Isn't that crazy? Those are like Bitcoin mines, man, and they just keep selling the lobsters. And so you buy the rights to your lobster pots, you set them out, And there's probably a process because they want to keep it, in a lot of areas. But and that's how that's how a lobster fisherman makes his money. And one lobster can go for like $16, $20 a pop, Just one. They could be $8 a pound, $15 a pound. It depends on the season. It depends on the meat, but they're usually worth, at least $16 to $20. And then the bigger they are, the more expensive. Until they get too big, the meat's just a little tough. Like I've eaten a couple 5-pound lobsters, 6, 7, 8-pound lobsters, and they're older to get that big. And so you really want like a 5 or 6-year-old lobster. Anyway, lobsters also bottom feeders. When you look at it, don't they look like mini ants? So I grew up eating lobster my whole life. And then one day I actually, just 6 or 7 years ago, I was like, am I eating a parasite off the bottom of the floor of the ocean that eats trash? And my mind was like, yeah, you probably are. And again, I came to this assumption by myself. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings and say, hey, I sell lobster for a living. How dare you? I'll still have a couple lobster rolls a year, but I used to eat way more lobster. And then there was a year I just stopped eating it because I was like, I think I'm eating. What do you guys think? Was I eating a bottom feeder off the bottom of the ocean? Right? It looks like an ant. It's a bug of the sea, isn't it? It looks like a giant bug. Am I wrong? Yeah. Someone said they used to be bar and barrel food. Yeah, exactly, weren't they? Yeah. Yeah, got to watch the crooks who steal the ball. It's just like the Bitcoin crooks. I know, right? Everyone's after the pop, right? Someone says everything is some form of parasite. Interesting. Yeah. They used to be poor people food because they ate the bottom feeders. I know, right? 100%. So you guys are conscious. You guys are on point, right? A sea bug, yes. A parasite, no. Thank you. Okay. Show comparisons to all life. They are delicious, though. They are, man. With a little butter, bro. Come on, man. That white meat and the toughness of it when you crunch on in. Ooh. I love me a lobby. My dad used to call, let's get the lobbies tonight. We having lobbies tonight? My dad had friends that were lobstermen, Because my dad grew up on the island. He was an iron worker. He wasn't a woodsman and he wasn't a fisherman. But they respected him because he built buildings. And he didn't take no, and he always offered you a beer if you came to his house, Hey, sit down, have a beer. What are you doing? Hey, And my dad knew a lot of people, and they always brought us lobster, all the time. We had lobster bake, lobster pot. Oh, man. I don't know how many times I've eaten a lobster in my life. It's got to be in the thousands, I feel like. But, hey. So I've had enough. Okay. He said if it was crawling around outside your door, you would move out. I know, right? Crabs are arachnids of the sea. Interesting. Nobody ate lobster until the food industry launched a campaign. Everything we do has been brainwashed for us to do it. Yeah, I believe that. So, yeah, look for a short squeeze out here for Bitcoin. Kind of an inverted head and shoulder. A bit of a backwards Adam and Eve. A slanted backwards Adam and Eve. I mean, you won't hear that anywhere else. But that has a measured move somewhere back to $93,900, $94,000 BTC. And it looks somewhat bullish here that we could get a bigger move to the upside. So, hey, look at this thing. Starting to crush it. Again, I'm not going to chase. I like what we're seeing. But this is starting to show you that the bigger time frame moves are kind of coming into position. That 4-hour 200 moving average. And see, and that trade from last night, still in the money. Look at the triple threes. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Boom, baby, boom. 93, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I love it. Yeah, shrimps are the roaches of the sea. Lobsters are more like the... You're funny, yeah. I DM'd you on Instagram and emailed you with an idea as well as a question about weeks. Interesting, thank you. XRP leading the recovery. Crab Egg Benedict. Some people like that too. Yeah. So previous support is resistance. They came to grab this liquidity. Let's take a look at the fib. Yeah, snatch the 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? Boom. And again, you wait. I like to wait for that bounce snipe. But yesterday, so last night's snipe still in the money here for a possible bottom buy back to the upside for Bitcoin. All right, this thing could really start to pump. So, hey, you got to take advantage of the volatility. And last night looked like there was a move there to the upside. So much extra butter just waiting for all those varieties of sea bugs to be consumed. I know, right? Just found that 2 weeks ago. Very interesting. And yes, true. Wow. Octopus inhales bottom feeders and spits out the shells that are still intact. Isn't that crazy? Oh my God, I could crush some eggs. Benny right now. I know, who couldn't, right? Nice pump for BTC, folks. We're getting the bigger move to the upside for Bitcoin. And this is awesome. This is kind of what we're starting to see. Wow, that thing was ferocious. And again, when you get above the 200 moving average, a pumpalopsky. And look, yeah, to the 200 on the 7 minute will probably calm down there. And again, my signal doesn't say exactly what's going to happen. It just says we just keep trolling it. It's like I troll it. You kind of troll Bitcoin until it gives you what you want, you know. Everyone ignores the troll, but Bitcoin will eventually succumb to your trolling. It's okay. What do you want? You want a flag? Oh, fine. I'll give you the flag. We got to catch back to this 21-day moving average eventually. But nice little move back to 93,351. Again, it doesn't mean we're out the water yet. I'm teaching you how to watch it every single step of the way, every day. I'm so ready to dump the 50K XRP on the moon. To dump 50 XRP on the moon, boys. Bitcoin Chris used to give the best XRP callouts. You're funny. Luck calling a long on XAU with a bull flag. What y'all think? He says, sweet, blasting off. Oh my God, yeah, funny. And let's take a look at the fan funding here coming back in. What are your thoughts on the 4-year cycle? Answer that. Subit Hardwani. Yeah, so here's the deal. You delete everything here, right? We deleted everything. What do I do? How do I add? All right, so the first thing that I do is I go here and I add the VRVP, the visible range volume profile. Click on that. Here's just going to be pink and blue. They change the colors. And then go to the settings, hit the style, or no, the inputs, and turn the 240 into 20. Oh, no, turn the 40. Yeah, no, sorry. That's mine. Go to the one that they made, right? Yeah. Hit this and add a 0 to the 240. Yours is going to be 24. And yours is going to become like lineated, right? So there you go. Bang. So that's the first thing. You got the VRVP. Second thing you're going to add, right, is the MACD. Type in MACD and just click on it right there. Updated version. Okay, beautiful. Ready to rock, okay? That's all. Nothing crazy. Then go here, type in RSI, Relative Strength Index, click on that. With the yellow line, it will look just like this. And then type in again, RSI, and hit Stochastics RSI with divergences by neobutane. And that's my setup, okay? And then last but not least, sorry, go to CBC, 5MA, DRS, click on that. That's going to give you 5 moving averages, the 21, the 50, the 80, the 100, and the 200. You can see I'm mainly using the 200 and the 21 a lot, but they all come into play over time. When they get very tight, it tells you there's an entry. That was that blast for Bitcoin to the upside that we were able to give you, because we could see we were getting very tight. The 21 touching above the 200 moving average. A monster move there on that 4-hour time frame. We are still above the 200 as long as the 4-hour stays above the 200. We have ourselves in an uptrend here. You understand? You know, so a lot of people aren't seeing kind of what's building. And that dump last night, I think got people a little wrecked, but it's you know, it has to happen. You got to flush out these people that are just over leveraged on our way to the upside, so we can get a clean move back up without dragging the price back down with too many. Because if you don't flush everyone out, you'll have too many longs that you have to go get every time. You got to clean out the liquidity, so the liquidity that looks better and juicier is above us, not below us. So when you shred out long, when you basically liquidate the longs, you know, you should add to the shorts, and you should create it more appealing to go back to the upside to liquidate the shorts, right? And vice versa. I mean, that's kind of how price action works. Okay, so we gave you basically an idea here that played out so far. I'm showing you how to continue the trade if you want. I still held my discipline to not chase and get in, even though my signals and everything told me it looked good. It's still Monday, and anything could happen. So I want to take it one step, one day at a time. But I like what we're seeing so far, and I see some bigger ideas for Bitcoin. I hope you learned a great amount today on the channel. I hope it expanded your knowledge of trading and crypto, and I hope you saw it in a way that you never thought possible. That's kind of my goal every day, is to teach you and to show you things so you can see them on another level, and you can use the education that you found today to actually enhance your life and to learn, right? Actionable education, so you can take action with what you've learned here today. I didn't want to bombard you with 1,000 different things, but I showed you how I set up my charts, the indicators that I use. You can always go back and play that. If you're like, oh, could you do it again? But you can always just go back and play that. All right. Some really good, insightful super chats today. I want to say thank you to everyone that sent in a super chat. I greatly appreciate that. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah. Best of the game. Thoughts on Sui Sam? Yeah. How we gone over on silver yet? Let's take a look at silver real quick. Thank you for saying that. But you want to look my macro technical analysis too on Friday, which is going to give you like the bigger idea for silver that I think you want to pay attention to. So if you look at silver right now on the 5-minute time frame, you have to remember the dollar took a big hit. Dollar's taking a hit. And there's my signal to continue to pump. And we're at 94 now. So like the odds are going to 100 are getting higher and higher. Silver's nicely placed. I'm in that silver trade that I gave my trading group. We keep talking about it. It's now at 15%, continuing. And look, this is the trade we looked at earlier too, on the 5. And this looks like we could have a target of 93,800 for Bitcoin. So I gave you all the knowledge I could today. We even found out that if things don't work out perfectly, there's still a possible double bottom on the weekly. So with everything coming our way, there's still possibilities of more movement, right? Which to me is very, very interesting. And so with that, I go with that, and I take it one step, one day at a time. There's so much TA that could go either way here, and we just got to take it one step at a time. That's how I look at it. And it is Monday. I could get off this channel. We could start to dump in 2 seconds. You can be like, wait, what did he just... I've seen it happen many times, so be careful, be easy. I'm not in a trade right now, even though it looks... it's probably a great... That's a good reversal. But I took my piece, took my money, and then when we find out that the key level looks better, I'll take my money again. I'm just more cautiously trading, okay? You're a great teacher, Sammy. I'm learning just from watching you. Thank you. Anytime, man. Yeah, as a beginner, how much should you start with a funded account? I can't tell you what to do with your money, man. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I would demo trade with free money first until I had like at least a track record of winning on my demo account. And not even a track record of winning, a track record of being disciplined and trading the way I'm supposed to trade. Like saying I'm going to do something, sticking to it. Say I'm going to do something, sticking to it. And make sure you're doing it. Say you're going to do something and stick to it over and over and over again, no matter what. And the idea is if you use proper risk management that I teach, which is risk no more than 1% of the portfolio per trade, and make sure you build yourself responsibly over time, then you just, you can't get liquidated for the account. There's only 3 trades in my humble opinion, for me. You can look at it any way you want. This is me. This is my life. This is a reality TV show of my life every single day. But there's only 3 trades. There's a dollar cost average into a long-term asset like Bitcoin. I like Solana still and some other things, but it's up to you. There's a swing trade that I have a stop loss on and I'm not risking my whole portfolio. Or there's a scalp trade. That's really it. Or maybe like a daily or a monthly trade, which is a long-term, like a real long-term swing trade, right? So fine, 4 trades. Every trade there has a plan. Every trade there has less, I'm not risking more than I've made in my life, I'm not risking entire portfolios, and I'm going from there. So for me, if you're getting wrecked and liquidated, you're over trading. You're putting too much money in that you don't have, and it's going to get depressing and it's going to hurt. And I've been there, man. I'm not getting liquidated really, but I've watched my accounts go up and down, and I've not taken money when I should have. Luckily, I don't subscribe heavily to high risk behavior. You know what I mean? And probably things I do now compared to what I used to are very high risk. I'm sure they are. I never, but it's very controlled. I know what I'm doing. I'm using strategies I've been using for so long that I'm very, very comfortable doing what I'm doing. Subconscious mind just knows where to click. I got the buttons down. And if I didn't have that experience, I'm sure I would be making a lot of emotional mistakes, because there's emotion and then there's muscle memory. Once you have muscle memory, it's a lot harder to get pushed by the emotions because you just do what you know you're supposed to do. It's quite simple. All right. Hey, here's that we broke back inside. I could see this thing still plow back out to the top of the channel. Just kind of like a broken cup and handle. Hi-ho, silver away, oversold in the stochastics RSI. Let's go, baby. Bitcoin all the way back up to 95.4 and beyond. All right, let's see what happens. Everyone, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on in. Thank you for being a part of the most amazing show on earth. I thank you. And we'll be back tomorrow. to bang on them, to show you why I do what I do, and to show you why we teach every single day. I hope you had a good time. We didn't make you cry this time, and I hope you feel blessed. There's even hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, which tells me we could make a high higher than that 97,008 area. So that was a big high. We cracked through some big areas. Now we just have to find where that support is and begin to bounce. So everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for jumping on in. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Go to cryptolifer.com if you want to find out more about how I trade, how we do it. And if you want to be in my Discord where I post every single thing that I'm thinking, sometimes even just ideas, tips and tricks. It may not even be a setup or an idea. It might just be kind of an overall look. You might see something like today that I've never seen before because I'm always in that group every day. So I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow. The secret to success is getting started. You got to start somewhere to be great. You know what I mean? You're not going to be great to start, but you got to start somewhere to be great. Everyone that did anything that we look at and we research and we say, wow, that person's amazing. I don't care if they were a comedian. I don't care if they were on-screen host. I don't care if they were a guitarist, a swimmer. I like Michael Phelps. He's a great example. All the gold medals that he won. Like one day he jumped in the pool and he started swimming. He started somewhere, right? And then that led to something else. I started somewhere. Everyone I know started somewhere. And they're where they are now. So stay blessed, stay amazing. I would flag out that 5-minute time frame above the 200. Look how it interacts with the 21. See how we get these tweezer bottoms made on the daily, the 12-hour, 4-hour, and the 8-hour. And so far, it has it smells of a reversal. So we'll see. But I'm picking up some details and very low stochastics, some hidden bullish divergence. All that is starting to come into play. And even a bounce off the 786 fib on the 4-hour time frame. So yeah, it's looking like a pretty good area for a possible long bounce. So I love you. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.